recording. Let's hope this works. Because
It'll
it's all
work.
brought to you today by Touch It Safe. Well, this is a first for Shift and Stare because we are starting out right now with our first Zoom session. So hopefully the audio works well for everybody. And I know that Matt, Aaron, this could be a new day for Aaron. It could be when we hear you, Aaron.
I feel really old right now. It's like, yeah, we're using Zoom.
I thought it was just because you've been cooped up in your house for a month.
Yeah, right. Yeah, welcome to my studio. Kind of looks like your office, Brad. Just a bunch of stuff.
Just a bunch of stuff. I did see a comedian online that was saying, I forget who posted it. I wish I could get them their props, but they said, yeah, next week, nobody will be posting selfies because we're going to see who really does get their hair colored or not because it's going to start coming through.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's loading up on
no idea
paper.
what you're talking about.
On beard dye.
On beard dye? Yeah, listen.
Look at you guys with all your gray beards.
Off. Yours is white too, Matt.
Yeah, well, Mr. Machio, we can't all be you.
So hey guys, we're in this COVID-19 madness, and there's still some good things happening around the automotive world. And I thought we'd start right out with social media is blowing up, man. Have you guys seen all this stuff? People are finally have the time to like do little videos of their projects, doing photo galleries. A lot of the Motor Trend guys are putting up these little videos. Some of them are a little like, did you see the Brady Bunch one that they did?
Yeah, Courtney Hanson doesn't seem to be on lockdown.
South Beach lockdown, man. Come on.
Yeah, right? But yeah, that she's got a really big yard.
I didn't see the Brady Bunch video. I saw the Ferris Bueller video.
Didn't see that one. Didn't see that one.
I haven't seen
all
that
the
one.
Motor Trend guys did that one from their homes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, did we see it? I mean, that's all we could do is just get on social media and Zoom and kind of track what's going on. And now it's today, as we're recording this Friday in LA, we just got the alert, sort of the next stage of lockdown. So it's getting worse before it gets better. Some people were going out, walking around the neighborhood a little bit, walking the dogs, going for a drive. I did as well. We were talking about the Lamborghini last week, and I went for a drive. Didn't go anywhere. Didn't stop. You know, you can't stop.
You did too.
But but now they're saying if you're going to go out at all, you should wear some sort of face mask, some sort of homemade cloth masks. And so all you guys that have a shop, right, you probably have some sort of painter's mask or something laying around, but most people don't.
A variety.
Dude, I totally scored. I have my 88-year-old mom that I'm taking care of, make sure she's safe. And I was like, just what you said, Matt. I said, I know I've got something out in my shop. So I go to my shop, I go to the cabinet where I keep stuff, and I start digging around, pull out a box, and it had N95 masks from when I do stuff that could have asbestos breaks or anything like that,
Yeah.
And I was like, score. So I kept 2 back for my mom and gave some to Rick, producer Rick, who you guys know. His wife's going through chemotherapy, so her resistance is already down.
Yeah.
So gave some to her and mailed some off to my sister-in-law, who is working at a hospital, and their dad, who's in his 80s. So it was a score for all those people that I knew.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I went through all my archives too, and I found a couple cases of gloves and a case of N95 masks. So we took a few off the top because the box was open and it was dusty. But yeah, we donated some gloves to our local hospital, and the remainder of the masks to the local hospital. And it's nice that we have a stockpile of stuff,
Yeah.
being in the business, and that we can contribute. Even a box is something. So it's keeping people as safe as we can.
A friend
Yeah.
of mine down in Texas, they have warehouses, and he had an empty warehouse when Houston had all the hurricane last year. And
Oh wow.
and he called me, and he had donated his warehouse last year for relief for the hurricanes. Was that last year or a year ago? I can't remember. But and he said they left pallets of stuff in there that he just pushed to the back with his, and he goes, when all this happened, he went and checked it out. Cases of N95 masks,
Oh
gloves,
really?
all kinds of
Wow.
stuff that, it costs more for them to haul it away at that point,
Sure.
And so he was like, whoa. And after I talked to him out of selling them on Amazon, he donated them to the
Yeah. Good.
He said, I could
Good.
build a new car, man. What are you talking about?
So now that we can't go outside without some sort of cloth mask, homemade mask, I'm just gonna grab a pair of my underwear, pull it over my head, not
Nice.
I was
fresh
just going to
anywhere.
suggest that. Yeah,
Yesterday's
just gonna
underwear. That way,
What-
people know I'm coming.
Well,
it's small
it's-
enough, right?
I mean, you've seen Bicycle Built for Two. Well, if you have a significant other that wears a large bra, you can just put them both on, have a cup
That's
on
right.
each face, and just walk down the street together.
That's right. We haven't seen anything on social media about women recycling their bras to make face
Yeah,
masks.
it's the right shape and everything.
No, actually, there was in
Oh, was there?
there was a Chinese instructional video of how to turn your bra into a face mask.
Dude, over there they use everything. Have you seen the ones where they were using like banana peels and
No.
old they were cutting like melon rinds and putting them over their face with a piece of twine because they don't have anything. And it's like,
Yeah,
wow.
man.
They scoop everything out of the rind and just put like the skin. It was
Yeah.
like,
Well,
wow.
nobody's doing it with socks.
Yeah, no one's doing with socks. Can't you just eat the melon while you're covering your face?
You probably could
Yeah,
just lick
You
it.
can-
If it doesn't fit right.
Don't ever do that to
start
me
biting.
again on camera, Brad. Whatever that was you just did. All right, what else is going on with you guys?
Hey,
Enough
now,
about
have you
that.
guys seen, in addition to people posting that, have you seen all the guys that are now, because they finally have downtime and they've talked about it for years, they're scanning all their old photos and putting them up? Have you seen any of those?
Oh yeah.
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 I've joined a couple groups like vintage Camaros, and guys are scanning all their old Camaros from like the 60s and 70s, and it's so cool. Vintage muscle cars. And then what's really weird is the American Bicycle Association for BMX racing. I used to work there long, long ago, and they're posting all their photo archives. They're sitting at home scanning them and posting them. And it's so weird to see these photos that I took when I was like, 21, 22 years old. And then they're showing the boxes and my handwriting's on them. And I'm like, it's weird because it's like, I can almost like remember the exact moment I took some of those photos. It's strange, but it's really cool at the same time.
It's a lot of guys with mullets and short shorts.
And
yeah,
blade sunglasses.
Yeah. Brad's got quite a few photos of himself with the mullet and the short shorts.
Oh yeah, and you've never even seen the good ones because those are on your lock and key.
Man.
But like when you can really tell it was the '80s is when the guys have stickers on their number plates that say like "No fat chicks," stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the things we got away with.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. They're showing their videos, they're showing their home shops. There's some people that I'm sure you guys can agree we don't really want to see their houses.
Yeah.
Some people do not look at the backgrounds. They just don't look at the backgrounds. But what have you guys been working on? I know, Aaron, you You just got Misha a Jeep, I heard. You got to tell us about that, dude.
Yeah. So, for my 50th birthday, I got my Defender, and so we were like, well, what's your dream car, honey? What do you've always wanted? And she's been after an old Jeep. So she doesn't like the flat fender style.
I thought you guys already had an old Jeep, but he's got fur.
Well, we did. We had a flat fender. Oh, the dog. Yeah, he's old. But we had a flat fender for a little while, an M30 or an M3A, or I forget what it was. Anyway, a 2.3A. And then we found the CJ5. I was like, well, let's just browse. And, they gave it away. I mean, really nice family. They got it, just as an extra vehicle. And they weren't, I guess his wife wasn't really into it. It was kind of for her. And this thing's got ARB lockers, front and rear, air system. It's got, a really nice, XD 9000i winch, nice tail, swing out, tires on 33s. I mean, the thing was really nice. 40,000 appearingly original miles, the perfect color, like military green.
Wait, you have a car in your family with paint?
Yeah, right. And the paint's actually, and I'm like, honey, you want me to buff it out? And she's like, no, leave it in patina. I'm like, you're my girl. But
you're like, I didn't want to do that work anyway.
Yeah, right. But so she's relearning how to drive a Standard, because it's been a while in the Czech Republic. She learned to drive a Standard. They don't really have a lot of automatics when she was growing up. So she's being reintroduced, and she took to it real quickly. And it's just a putt around town Jeep. But the guy was like, I wouldn't drive it, I wouldn't drive it back. And I'm like, screw that. So I said, let me take it around the block. I said, we're good. So 20 pounds of air pressure, 33s, pretty worn out, pretty chunked out. And, how 33s are, those big old mudders. This thing was kind of all over the road. I drove it almost 2 hours from the far side of Reno out in the boonies all the way back to Tahoe. And by the time we got home, it was about 22 degrees. I was doubled up in jackets, face mask, hat. I must have looked pretty interesting, because there's no roof, no doors, no nothing. It's wide open. But it's a fun project. We got a little bikini top for her, and a couple, some mats and some accessories. But she wants it left alone. Nothing pretty, nothing fancy.
Except for
she's
some 44-inch monster motors, right?
Yeah, right. But she's like, we're not off-roading it. I'm like, honey, the tires were set at 20 pounds. This thing's lived its life off-road. She goes, no more, no more.
Sounds like a summer vehicle, and this isn't really catering to your weather.
The only difference is the layers that you're wearing. Okay, there's no difference between summer
I'm
and
with
winter.
Matt. It doesn't really sound like the car for Tahoe without a hard top. Or
this is what I'm saying. Just a minute ago, Aaron showed us a picture of his back door, and it won't open because there's 4 feet of snow in the way.
And he gets his wife an open air car.
Yeah, he's like, look, I got you not only a convertible, but there's no top at all.
Yeah. Who understands the concept of shoveling out your car before you can go to work?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, shoveling out the inside.
Does it have heat that works?
Yeah. The heater works, and the AC works. You just stick your hand out, lick your hand, stick it out. But the heater works. I actually had it blast on the way home. My legs were warm and my feet. But it's just, that's the lifestyle. When I was a teenager, I had a little convertible. Man, even if it was raining, that top was down, because if you're going fast enough, the rain just goes right over you.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you're dedicated to the lifestyle, you're dedicated to the lifestyle.
When I was a teenager, I drove around with 488s and a big block and windows down, but that didn't mean I want to do it today.
Well,
to be fair, when I was that age, I had a 93 Mustang Cobra, and now I have 93 Mustang Cobra. But back then it ran. Now it doesn't run. So
Yeah.
it's not
Now
done. I have two of them. They're not done.
Your first one, you didn't have any money for it, and this one, you got money for it, but it don't run.
Yeah, it doesn't run. You got to get over there to fix it, and can't
That
get
just
over
goes
there.
to prove the more money you have doesn't mean the shit runs.
No, not at all.
Hey Matt, the photo behind you of the Mustang, do you go there and pray every night that it'll get done? You're like, please someday.
That's not even the the red car that was getting done. This one.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. This is still a ways out.
Oh, I thought that was a Farrah Fawcett poster. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
everything's a ways out today.
This one is a ways out. This one actually does require more money that I don't have. This one does require quite a bit. And hey, I see you back there. I see Misha back there.
Hey,
Misha, you need to talk about your Jeep.
It's like that one right there. It's in the same shape, bud.
Yeah, see, you got a picture of a car. It's
that's
easier.
a car that's not done too.
It's just easier to have the pictures of the cars than it is to have the actual cars. But I went and sort of visited this car the other day. I swung by Bodie Stroud's shop a couple of weeks ago before we were all locked down. And he's building a few cars. I think he's doing another car for Tim Allen, and Adam Carolla actually still has a Lamborghini 400 GT that's over there, and he did a bunch of work on it. It's just not quite done yet because we've been trying to source a rear quarter window, just the glass.
You know, weird how on those cars, it's stuff that you would think so simple and you can't find.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to find it. So, we got to figure out, are we going to make it or not? And then he can make the stainless trim that goes around it. He can make that from scratch. You just don't really make the glass from scratch. So anyway, I went over there and just checked up. It's been a while and checked up on some of those cars, and off into the distance is the unibody for this Mustang, with the suspension and all that stuff. But upstairs, like in the loft in his office, are the seats. And if you guys remember, I had those really cool Sparco carbon fiber seats.
Yeah.
And when we were rushing for SEMA, I wanted to get them done in a blue leather, and Sparco they're not going to offer anything like that. They're not going to do custom colors. They only come in a black, like cloth or suede or whatever, Alcantara. But Sparco in Italy also makes OEM seats for a lot of the manufacturers. So as a favor, they were able to go to their line, and somebody ordered an Alfa Romeo with the optional seats with the blue leather. So they pulled the blue leather off of that guy's custom order, wrapped my seats, set them out, and then had to call him and go, sorry, there's a problem with your leather. Your seats are delayed. And we got the seats kind of basically FedExed over for that SEMA display from a couple of years ago. We don't need to get into how many years ago.
Man, but you got some pull, Matt.
Yeah, we got.
Let's just say we were all a lot younger, Matt.
Yeah. Remember, you guys didn't have so much gray.
Well, I just put it in for effect. It gives me feeling. People are more confident in me that way.
Wait.
Oh, I get you. Like in this video, this is a filter.
Do I have to touch it up here?
Oh yeah. Aaron's literally using a Sharpie on his beard right now.
Oh, that's right. You guys can't see us, but we can see.
Yeah, we're using video. Nobody else is. But
I got lost in it. Oh wait, so you can't see me doing this? You can't see me.
No, you can't really see that. So I went over there and I talked to Bodie because on the truck we were talking about redoing the steering for the truck and tightening it up, and there's no way to like rebuild the Ford steering box to be quicker ratio. You can rebuild them, but there's not a quick ratio gear set or anything. So we just got I work with Flaming River on several of the cars, and they have a quick ratio brand new steering box that I like. We took all the measurements. The spline count for the pitman arm is exactly the same. The steering shaft is all exactly the same. The dimensions of the box are all exactly the same. just the mounting bolts are not. They're not. One's 3-bolt, one's 4-bolt. So what Bodie's going to do is he's going to basically take off the stock steering box. He has to cut the frame, weld in a new plate onto the frame with new steering bolt locations, the mounting bolt locations, and we'll be able to do that swap. And that I kind of feel like is the game changer for this truck. It takes all the slop out of the steering that's there now. It eliminates the rag joint, goes to a solid shaft, collapsible, but a solid shaft. So it doesn't have that wearable rag joint. And it's going to go from whatever the hell it is, 7 or 8 turns lock to 4 or something like that. It's going to be a quick ratio. It's going to go from 17 to 1 to like 12 to 1 ratio. So that's going to be.
It will dramatically change it. I did that on my El Camino.
Yeah.
I was able to change the box over on that from, like you said, like 6 turns lock to lock to 2.5 turns lock to lock.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Yeah.
Coming off the freeway with the Hotchkiss suspension and with the coilovers and that, oh my gosh, it made that car so much better. And it's going to make your truck so much better having that.
Yeah. And last week, Aaron, you were saying, I'll follow up on.
I was just going to say, that's definitely an issue with the Jeep is.
Yeah.
I think it starts to turn about halfway, and then it starts to turn.
You've turned the wheel. You've turned the wheel 8 inches around before the vehicle starts to turn, and
it's like I'm in the corner and I'm going like this, and it hadn't even started turning, and I'm like, jeez.
It's almost scary because you're driving down the freeway, like out here, you're driving down the 405 at 65, 70 miles an hour, and there's enough kind of waves and bumps in the road that you're just sawing at the wheel, just trying to keep that thing straight and realize that your arms have to move, 10 inches one way or the other just to get the steering wheel, just to get the tires to move 2 inches one way or another. And
welcome to driving old cars.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna fix that.
It's like the old NASCAR guys. You ever see that old footage of like Kyle of like Petty in them, and they're like,
yeah. Oh my God, yeah, it's exactly like that.
Isn't that what you do? We see IndyCars guys doing that too. You see Formula One guys
like this.
Yeah, right. They're moving like just a fraction of an inch to get that thing all over the road.
So you're doing that. What else you got planned for?
So I'm gonna send it over there at some point. We're trying to figure out when does it make sense? Yeah, during a lockdown and whatever, or is Bodie just gonna do it himself? Like, do I just drop off the truck, leave the keys, wipe it down, and then he goes, later that day or the next day and just grabs it and starts working on it. We're trying to figure that out.
I got my truck here, man. Can you take
it? Right. Put the mask on, and the gloves, and the
mask up, bro.
But last week we were talking about the vehicle speed sensor not being accurate, and which controls the shifts and the ABS brakes and the speedo.
Back in your rear end.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, last week we were talking about that. Yeah, that's
you weren't here.
I was stuck in a grocery store with a face mask.
Right. So there's a sensor on the back of the rear end housing that controls. It's the vehicle speed sensor, which controls the speedometer. It controls the shifting for the transmission. And if it's inaccurate, the ABS light will go on and the ABS won't work. Brakes work fine, just the ABS won't work. And in the rear differential, there is a tone ring. There's a geared ring. This exciter tone ring is what it's called. And it's I know. It's exciting until you have to replace the goddamn thing. And so when we put the brakes and stuff on the car, we put a 355 gear in there, put an Eaton differential. It has factory 31 spline axles, which apparently you can't get in the aftermarket. There's no replacement axles for it. But now all of that has to come apart so I can put this tone ring in there, because if the teeth are worn down or a chipped tooth or anything, I've tried the sensors and filed down the sensor, did all of that stuff and it does help it a little bit, but it's not fixing the problem. So now I have to go into the rear differential. And I figured, well, while I'm in there, what Brad and I were talking about last week was,
I know, I was saying we already touched on this.
yeah, is why not try to replace the axles and maybe go to C-clip eliminators? And I called around to a bunch of companies, and Strange and Moser and Mark Williams and all the guys that are making axles. Does anybody make them? What should we do?
A bunch of axle makers.
Yeah, a bunch of axle makers. And nobody really has anything over the counter for that truck. So they have to be made. And the one thing I didn't know was they all said don't use the C-clip eliminators because they're great for drag racing, but when you're taking a lot of turns on the street or a road course, they will start to leak. And so they're saying don't do that. You got to take the ends of the axle, you got to cut them off, and you got to weld on. Yeah, you got to weld on the new caps and the new setup, and to do that, and then we'll get new axles in there. So we're still going to keep the 31 spline axles, but a much beefier, better steel axles. I'm going to have them custom made, and then we're going to have to cut the ends off that the housing and weld on new ones. So I just posted up there, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to take all the measurements, but if anybody has measurements on the Gen 1 Lightning rear housing, share them, let me know so we can at least compare notes, because if it's, I don't know, if it's 69.5 wide and I come up with 69.25 or 69, something like that, I just want to know what other people are getting, because I don't have the differential like on a bench. What I got to do is I want to order up the axles and all the pieces and then take the truck and drop it off. I don't want the truck to sit on somebody's lift for 4 weeks while the axles are being made, like if I take it over to Galpin Auto Sports or somebody or have Bodie do it, I just don't want it to sit there forever and take their lift. It's not fair to do that. So
you want a recommendation on how to measure that accurately under the truck?
Yeah.
What you do is you find dead center of the rear end. You drop a plumb, okay, a plumb bob, so that you have a line to measure to.
Yeah.
And you go from that rear end housing behind the brake where that flange is, and you measure from there to the line, and then from the other side to the line, which will give you an accurate measurement. So that way you get that accurate, everything goes from not, because what you're trying to deal with is when you're dealing with the rear end, it's way in here, you start measuring and there's the bumps and everything. So what you try and do is bring everything out to a common line so that you can just get it. So you just find the center line, drop a plumb, and measure to that plumb.
But really important, Matt, don't bump the line.
Yeah, right?
But you can actually, once you drop the plumb line,
96, 44.
You can take some welding rod or even a coat hanger and replace the plumb line once you find it, and that gives you a nice rigid measuring place. Because we get that a lot.
Yeah, good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or Matt, you can go to and use some lasers.
Some freaking lasers.
Some freaking lasers, man.
Yeah, I gotta figure out where to do it. Try to get it.
Put your marks on the floor and then measure the floor.
So I mean, we're talking about all this, but guys, I've got some big news.
Okay.
We're talking really big news.
We're listening.
Got me a sunroof.
Oh.
Hey, how broken is it?
Now this one's in. It's installed.
Really?
Everything's good.
Hey.
And the only thing they couldn't do is put a new headliner in yet, because they were limited because of the shutdown. Even though they're a repair shop, the city of Corona is limiting repair shops to only stay open 9 to 2. And so I got to take it back in another week to get the headliner replaced. But
are they going to do the seats as well? They're doing the interior.
Yeah, they're doing the seats as well, the seats and the headliner. That's why I couldn't get everything done. But I'm telling you, after driving it around, now I can finally tell the story that I'm not so embarrassed, and I will even post some photos
Yeah.
what I made to cover that gaping hole in the
Oh yeah,
top
I've
of my
seen
roof.
it.
I originally took some sheet metal and I put it up there, but of course it flopped and flibbered and, so what I did is I did hot rod ingenuity. I went to the auto parts store, and those big metal oil drip pans that you buy?
Yeah.
Because they're only like an inch deep, but the beauty of it is it's big, but it's also got that ridge rolled around it, making it rigid. So I took one of those, and then I went and got some, we just got some kind of notice on the screen I had to get rid of. I got some aluminum angle, and I cut it, and I put 4 of those and riveted them in to give it rigidity so it wouldn't be sitting there flopping around. And it also gave me a place to put some cross bars to kind of sandwich it in underneath the car or underneath the headliner. And that thing with some sealer around it, it didn't hardly leak any rain, and it barely
Hardly.
Hardly. That's
So
what
you're
I was thinking.
saying, so you're saying it leaked some.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I still had to put an old blanket and stuff whenever it was raining, which you guys know it's rained way more than it usually does around here.
Let me tell you about portable buckets. They're great because you could put them behind the seat and then you can just open them up.
But you know what? You know where water finds? It finds threads, right?
Yeah.
So when you got 6 bolts holding this thing together, it would come down those threads, and then it would leak on my head or whatever. But it was funny when I took
crawling
it to the
down your
sunroof,
face.
I took it to the sunroof place, and the guy comes in and he goes, "Well, I've never seen that before." People have come in with cardboard and duct tape, and he goes,
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. He goes, "You did a good job on this. Do you mind if I take a couple of photos of this? I'm gonna have to do this." And I was
Brad's
thinking,
like, I'm an engineer.
yeah. I was like, I'm a hot rodder, man. That's what we do. But it was just so embarrassing. I mean, because
He wasn't asking to take photos because he thought it was awesome. He wanted to share it to his friends. He's like, look at this.
Social media right now. Like,
Yeah.
Phil.
Fan his Instagram.
He wanted to have a good laugh about it.
But hey, man, it was better than duct tape and cardboard. Let me tell you.
But Brad, was it?
It's going to rain again in like 3 days for a week.
Hey, kid, now. I don't care. I have a sunroof.
Oh, well, I guess we're going to see if it works or not, huh?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
But does it mostly work?
No, dude, it works. I went to the car wash and had it washed for the first time in like forever. So
yeah,
that was
you now know that you need new door seals, but your roof is great.
I know it needs everything else, but it's got a brand new sunroof.
Wait, does it have
box on the sunroof?
So you have it back, but it's like the headliner and all the seats over at the shop?
No. He just didn't touch that.
He's
he put
got
the old
crates.
headliner back in. I'm going to take it back in a couple of weeks, and he's going to do both front seats. He's going to do the headliner. I might even have him put new carpet in it. So
Brad, so what you mean is you're not steering with some channel locks and
sitting on an egg crate,
sitting on a milk crate. I had 2 channel locks. So
hey man, you should have seen the looks. It was mostly from truck drivers who looked down on the truck because they kind of look over at you like,
"That's a shiny
what the
roof.
hell is going on there,
Yeah.
man?" I just tell them, I go, "Yeah, my truck leaks. I don't want to get oil everywhere."
Yeah, right. I'm using oil pans on the roof.
So Matt, you were driving kind of the same sort of vehicle recently. Something that needed a lot of work and upholstery and carpets and everything, weren't you?
Oh, Lamborghini?
Yeah, the Lamborghini. That thing. The Lamborghini was fun. It was
the worst time to ever have it, though.
No, actually it wasn't. And I'll tell you why. This is kind of weird. It'd be fun to like take it up and stop at like Neptune's Nest and get get some food or something. You can't really stop, but they sent over the Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spyder, and I was like,
Wow.
I'm just gonna fire up the coast and drop the top and have some fun. And because we've been locked down for so long, it is the cleanest air LA has seen in probably 20 years.
And no traffic.
And no traffic. So it was like the nicest ride. I just kept going. I ended up in Oxnard. Like I was past Ventura up to Oxnard, and then turned around, came back, and it's interesting. It's 640 horsepower, but still naturally aspirated V10. And when everyone's going to some sort of forced induction, turbos and things like that, you just can't beat that sound. That thing just sounds so good, especially with the top is down. But this is a car. This one was all-wheel drive, and their new all-wheel steering system.
How was that?
Yeah, and you can't really like tell like when it's happening, but you do realize how precise it is and how good it feels. I did cut through the canyons a bit as well, and I was like, I do like the way this thing handles. It was fantastic. Now when you get into the convertible, I had a little bit of a hard time getting comfortable in it. The rear engine cars, there's such a bulkhead behind there, and when you're trying to
it's hard for you to see over the dash, right?
And well, that goes for every car pretty much.
Sorry, Misha told me to say that.
I know, jeez, come on. When you like if you try to lean the seat back a little, you have to really slide it forward. And I was talking to our buddy Alistair Weaver from Edmonds, and that dude's like 6'4", right? So he's lanky, but he's giant. He there's just no way for a guy his size, even at 130 pounds or whatever the hell he is, can even fit in it. So it's a little cramped in that respect.
Oh God, I can't fit in it.
But that's why I didn't buy it, Brad. It's because I just couldn't really fit real comfortable. But no. But by the way, they sent over.
There was room for my poodle.
The gorgeous metallic blue with the black Alcantara, the red stitching, red calipers, carbon ceramic brakes. I mean, it's 0 to 60 in 2.5, maybe 2.4, and
that hurt your eyeballs.
It's kind of scary fast. It's scary fast. There's a street mode and then a sport and a track mode, and the sweet spot is the sport mode really. And you hammer down, and when it really kicks open that throttle, it launches hard. Even just on a freeway, it just pulls so hard, and you realize you're getting up there into triple digits. And before you even know it, you look down and you're like, oh, wow, I'm going a little bit faster than I thought. And then you realize this thing is scary fast. It's getting a little tough to handle. All those bumps on the 405 are coming up a lot faster than they do when you're driving a 30-year-old, 25-year-old F-150.
What?
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, it was fantastic drive. I couldn't help but compare it to the McLaren, to the 720S. And although I do love that car, we had some time spending, Brad and I both drove that car. That was the convertible hardtop with the really cool carbon fiber roof, but with the glass panoramic roof. And you just touch it and it goes opaque, electronically makes the glass opaque and clear. And I think that's like a $9,000 option to do that. But
hey, if you're buying a car that expensive, buy it.
I kind of feel like the McLaren being rear wheel drive and having a little bit more power, it felt a little more visceral. But the sound of the Lamborghini, I think, was a little more intense. Now, I was told by my friends at Lamborghini that there will be a 2-wheel drive, lighter weight version of this Huracan Evo. And we'll be able to test that at some point when it becomes available, but it'll probably be a little while. But fantastic car, and all of these cars are becoming more of, for lack of a better term, a daily driver. I'm not sure who really is daily driving these things, but yeah, it's easy to get in and out of, as you know, as much as any crazy supercar that's super low to the ground and whatever. But with the top up, very quiet. When you compare the soft top on the Lamborghini to the convertible hard top on the McLaren, I don't think you notice the difference. It's very quiet, and it's you know, it definitely catches the eye. That color combination was fantastic.
Well, everyone asked, with these supercars getting so fast, when would it happen? And you guys did hear that Bugatti has announced that their next car is coming out with a 0 to 60 time of negative 0.299. So they released that on April 1st, and it was quite impressive.
Where are we now with the fastest cars out there? Like the ultimate, like hybrid, like a Koenigsegg. We're under 2 seconds.
Yeah,
we're 1.9 now.
It's the new Koenigsegg teleportation.
Right.
Also released on the 1st.
Like something like that with, you know, with all-wheel drive, with, you know, a gas engine and electric motors. You know, this combination, we're under 2 seconds with some of these things. I just can't imagine how crazy. Rimac maybe like, as well.
What does a F1 car go 0 to 60 in?
I don't know. It seems like that's got to be around that range now, right?
Yeah, I mean, how fast can you do it? You know, at some point there's inertia and things that, you know, there's the delta factor and everything like that you have to take into the coefficient when you figure out these type of things. Did that sound really official, guys?
That's I was gonna say.
None of that shit made sense.
I was just gonna say,
aren't Formula One cars not very fast 0 to 60 because they're geared for high speed?
All our engineer friends are going, what the hell did he just say?
Push them? Larry, how fast are you at 0 to 60? Come on.
Is it too early to ask when the Italian car manufacturers are going to come out with drop tops that are N95 rated?
Right.
Yeah, right?
Airbags that are N95 rated.
So
hey, that ain't funny, man. Enough with those kind of jokes, Brad. That's in very poor taste.
I asked if it was too early, okay?
I'm gonna go pull the cabin filter out of the Jag. I just installed a little while ago. Oops, somebody's blowing up my phone. I just installed the new the carbon whatever cabin filter. It's like a few months ago I did, before this whole thing hit, which is interesting.
It's spoiled now. You got to get rid of it, man.
And I gotta pull it out and wear it around my face.
There you go.
That thing, yeah.
Well, now, no joke. Somewhere in social media, I saw someone was making masks, and they were using those HEPA filters that you use in your house. You know, they were cutting those up and putting them inside of a homemade cloth mask as filtration, because they're like, hey, that's about as good a filtration as you're going to get off the market.
Yeah, but do you breathe through it? That's
I kept
only one way.
I kept using my K&N air filter, but I kept getting oil on my face. and every time I moved the filter around, I'd have a red around my face.
Yeah, what's up with that? When is this going to end, you guys? I mean, seriously, from an industry standpoint, when is this all going to end?
Hopefully soon, because I need a haircut.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. We're going to get to a point where you're going to be, you know, guys are going to be like standing on the street corners going, hey, buddy, you need a haircut?
Yeah, right?
Walk around the back.
Black market haircut.
Hey, I got a Flowbee.
No, but seriously, I don't know if you guys saw, we're recording this on April the 3rd, but last night, AccuAir announced on social media that they're gone. They filed Chapter 7. They said that every single employee is gone. The place is locked up by the bank, and they were advising people that if you had anything in for repair, if you had any existing orders, contact the bankruptcy court. So
really,
they were a pretty good sized company, and a lot of people used AccuAir. Everything
the
from
go-to.
rat rods to supercars, and they are gone. And so they're the first one that I've heard of falling because of this, and it's not the last, unfortunately, because I go through and I look at all the comments. A lot of them are really asinine from guys that are that don't know, and they're like, how could a company this big and on and on, there's something else going. Hey, you know what? It takes a lot of capital and a lot of cash flow, as you guys know, to run a company. And, the other thing, and I've heard this from some of my customers, is this hadn't been going on that long. Well, no, out here in California, we've been feeling it for 4 weeks because we first got the schools to close down, which meant employees couldn't show up because their kids were out of school. And so it's been going on a lot longer out here, and it just eats you alive. And so you got to remember to support these companies, and I've heard the comparison twice. One was from an industry guy that I thought, seriously, dude, you should know better. He goes, I don't know how somebody could go out of business already. I've talked to guys at Summit and they're shipping and they're doing great. Big difference between a manufacturer and a company like Summit or Jegs or Speedway, who have aisle after aisle of boxes on the shelves that they can continue to ship. When when they shut you down like they did my factory and tell you can't work with virtually 8 hours notice, it's hard for a lot of companies. So just remember it, guys. Give them a lot of slack, because I've talked to a lot of the other wheel companies. I've talked to the guys at Morrison, and everybody's shut down out here in California. And, there's some guys skirting it, but not very many. And so, AccuAir just fell, and it's really unfortunate because, after 18 years in business, innovation in that field, it's sad. It's sad to see all that blood, sweat, and, hard work go down the tube for somebody like that.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's tragic. There's going to be a lot of fallout from this thing for a long time. I mean, years,
Well, and the longer it goes, the biggest problem for everyone is that we don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah, this is new. It's new for the world. This is a new thing.
It's scary as hell when these politicians say, well, we could be going into June. I go, oh my God, June, what the,
Yeah.
So, but we're keeping in touch with our customers. We're going to send out a Friday blast, again today, and just let them know that, hey, we're still sitting here. We're here, but we're sitting, it's really frustrating. So, what's confusing to some people is what's considered essential, because there are like car dealerships, because they repair cars in the back, they can still stay open. And repair places, that doesn't mean that an aftermarket company that makes anything can still stay open. And if they're a distributor, they can still take calls from home, and my employees are working from home. Phones are transferred. It's a whole new world, everybody, and we're going to see so many things change. We're going to see a lot of bankruptcies. We're going to see a lot of companies go out of business. We're going to see a lot of individuals go bankrupt. Unfortunately, people are going to lose their homes because what were the jobless numbers already? 6 million. I mean, it's dramatic. And,
in California alone, I think just in like the last week or so, 1 million people filed for unemployment.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah,
the
it's pretty crazy.
Really...
But you talk about the small shops, the small fabrication shops that have 5-6 people coming in, and they're trying to get some projects done and finish projects for customers. It's the only way to get even a little bit of money in the door. And I know some of the guys are starting to just do shifts. Like one fabricator will come in for a few hours and work on their project to try to get something done. And then they leave and then the next guy will come in, and it's that, the whole pace of everything is, whatever, 4 times as slow because, you got one guy coming in at a time, but they might not have a choice.
Yeah.
Oh no. And on the other hand, I listened to a customer of mine that called the other day, just checking in. He's got a set of wheels on order, and he's an upholsterer. And he goes,
Oh yeah.
he goes, I do custom upholstery. And he goes, my God, he goes, I've got 30 jobs booked. And he goes, I've got 10 cars in the shop. And he goes, guys are sitting at home with nothing to do. And he goes, so what do? Hey man, how's my car coming along? What's going on? When can I get it? I really need it yesterday. And he goes, they're driving me nuts. I tell him, he goes, I finally just took my phone off the hook. He goes, because I couldn't get anything done, and guys forget, they're sitting around and nothing to do. So they're thinking about their cars, and that's awesome. But, everybody's learning. Everybody's learning a new thing. And that's why, we're trying to keep it a little more happy and a little more talking about fast cars and things getting scanned and all the stuff that we talked about today. Right, guys?
Where's my center caps, Brad?
You know what? They are
Where's my
done.
steering wheel, Brad?
Yeah, no, you know what? Your caps are done, Matt.
Are they? Are they stuck
They're
in a
at the
factory somewhere?
engraving shop who's not open.
It's not open.
They are literally done, and I can't get them. So it's
that's all right. We can't go anywhere anyway. That's fine.
You know what I shipped in the last 3 weeks? I shipped 1 steering wheel. I had one in the warehouse.
Oh, really?
It's on the way?
Yeah, it's on the way. No, I shipped 1 steering wheel.
Wow.
Oh, wait. And a whole bunch of touch it safe, finger protection. Got to do something, man. I can't just sit around.
That's a good idea, Brad. It's a good idea.
Anyways, guys, I think we're wrapping it up for today. And Aaron, where can they find you other than in your house up in Tahoe?
You can find me on on Blank Drive in Lake Tahoe. I'm Aaron Hagar online, and the Rat Runner's Garage. I should be updating those, but I haven't. So Rat Runner Garage is a bunch of old stuff, but it would be a bunch of old stuff. It's a rat rod shop.
There you go. It's old stuff. Hey, Matt, why don't you tell them where they can find you and where they can find the show?
Yeah, mostly I'm at home with no pants on, just like Winnie the Pooh.
We don't need that. We don't need that. I can't take that out of my head now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Follow all of our social media, guys. Go to Motorator, go to Shift and Steer, everybody, because we're all posting some fun stuff as we're sitting around trying to distract our brains and make sure we don't gouge out our eyeballs. Just
the growth of a toenail over 6 weeks.
Yeah, right. Like starting to track that, time lapse it. My nose hair is growing. I'm just going to time lapse my nose hair. We're going to post some stuff
out of control.
Oh man.
And shiftandsteer.com. Go check it out. Check it out.
Hey, and you can find me at Bradley_Fanshaw on social media, like Instagram. I put most of my stuff up there. And everybody, don't forget, we don't want to hear you tell us you don't have time, because we know you do. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, subscribe, and leave a comment. Say, I'm stuck at home and nothing to do, so I'm listening to Shift and Steer. That'd be fine. It works. and that's it, man. Maybe next week will be the one when we can say, do you remember when we were under quarantine?
Well, I mean, no, that's not going to happen. We're
I
supposed to be
know.
locked down for
That's
another 30
wishful
days.
thinking, man.
Another 30 days. But keeping spirits up. Keep the smile on your face, guys. Stay healthy. Follow the rules. We'll get through it.
Are you guys eating more or exercising more during the lockdown?
Both.
I'm an artist, so I'm kind of used to this, and I'm not going out to restaurants or movie theaters. But other than that, nothing's really changed for me.
Well, I'm eating more and exercising less, so it's not working that well for me. All right,
That's
guys.
predator face again.
Yeah.
Predator face again.
No, that's I'm stuck in the elevator. Can you get the doors open?
Right. We're all gonna
Brad-
get through this, except Brad's gonna have diabetes when we're done.
Exactly. You're probably right. You're probably right. And
All
I
right, well,
will.
Brad's already
I
going
swallowed
insane.
a toothbrush.
And
All right,
Brad,
guys.
you need to fork
Have a
out
good
for
one.
premium so they can see the video because you guys don't want to be missing what we're seeing.
Oh, we gotta take a couple.
Hey, we're out of here.